Hi guys, I'm here with Bob Blackburn, and he's got an amazing story. I'd definitely love for you guys to hear it. So without further ado, here he is, Bob Blackburn.
Thanks, Michael, and I'm honored to be here with your folks and also part of your group with the plant-based diabetics, because I was and is one. So, kind of a longer story short, I was diagnosed as type 2 diabetic on November the 28th of 2016.
Okay.
And I'm a former Marine, and so I'm part of the VA. I also, in case anybody was ever interested, I'm also a former professional wrestler.
Wow.
So, so when I was diagnosed, though, I was, I'm 6'4", but I was a little over 320 pounds on that day in November. They gave me they did all my tests, which I didn't know what any of the stuff was, but I was a 9.9 H1AC,
Wow.
and I was my blood glucose, my fasting blood glucose, on the blood test was over 286. My triglycerides were 207.
Wow.
My cholesterol was 225. My weight was 320. So basically, I was about a cheeseburger away from a heart attack, and not feeling good. My feet hurt. I had a lot of the symptoms, if I would be honest with myself, but just didn't. I was probably in massive denial, to be totally honest. But they diagnosed me, and I was kind of freaked out. And I came home, and I had a friend of mine who had reversed his heart issues and cholesterol issues, using a plant-based diet. So I knew that might be an option. But I picked up Dr. Barnard's book, Reversing Diabetes. I dropped that on my iPad. I read it that night, literally. I watched his video and his TED Talk, and I watched Rip Esselstyn's TED Talk on from Engine 2, and Dr. Furman, the End of Diabetes guy, and basically within 24 hours, I had decided, okay, I'm going plant-based. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just going to figure it out as I go. And so I started. And much to the chagrin of all my friends and family, who now was dealing with this raving maniac, who didn't know how to eat. If you went out to eat with me, I was a pain in the neck. My kids and my daughter, my girlfriend's daughters, they were like miserable because I made a face every time they tell me what was on the menu. And so anyway, I didn't know what I was doing. I was miserable. I didn't know, I was just focused on what can I eat. So I probably spent 30 days kind of stumbling around in the dark. I ate a lot of what do they call them? Veggie burgers, and because I didn't know any better. I didn't quite understand what whole food plant-based was.
Right.
And then so about 30 to 50 days in, because I suffered through the holidays, because I got diagnosed right after Thanksgiving and right before Christmas. So I had eaten, my rear end off on Thanksgiving, before I was diagnosed, obviously. So Christmas was miserable. I didn't know, I went up to Boston with my boys for Christmas and to see my mom, and everybody up there was, I told them this is what I'm eating, and they were like, all right. So my mother did her best, and everybody did their best to try to feed me. It wasn't pleasant for anybody, including myself.
Right.
And but then shortly thereafter, the Mastering Diabetes guys had created the Mastering Diabetes Summit.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't know what that is, that was in my opinion, and I'm not compensated by these guys, it's by far the finest bunch of education on the subject of whole food plant-based eating for the subject of diabetes and heart disease.
Okay.
What they did was they did an interview like we're having today,
okay.
and they did it with all the top doctors and all the top nutrition people in the plant-based world.
Oh.
And it was a series like this, and it's you can get it online. You can watch it free for like 7 days. But so I started on that. I started watching those like every day. They'd come on with a new episode, man, and I was like glued to it. And that helped. It also confused me a little bit because, I'd go and I'd look at what Engine 2 was doing,
mm-hmm.
and they have a great program, and I'm a big advocate of them if you're a non-diabetic.
Right.
But as a diabetic, I found that their stuff was a little heavy on grains and heavy on, rices and things like that. So I was, I realized pretty quickly that I couldn't eat that way.
Okay.
So I settled. I found a dietitian through my searching on the internet,
mm-hmm.
and this gal by the name of Kim O. Smith, and she actually moderates the End of Diabetes group on Facebook.
Okay.
Fantastic lady. She's a UC Davis grad, really well educated.
Wow.
And I bought a few sessions with her, and she kind of helped sort me out.
Okay.
So I then began to eat whole food, plant-based, no oil.
Right.
Low fat. So, and that sometimes, I found that to be one of the more difficult concepts for average people like myself, because I don't have an advanced degree in anything.
Right.
And so much less nutrition. I'm an Italian kid born in Boston, who lived to eat. And I planned my day by what I was putting in my pie hole.
Boston, Massachusetts?
Yes, sir.
Funny you should mention that because I'm actually from Boston too.
Where are you from?
Dorchester.
I went to high school at BC High in Dorchester.
Wow.
I'm from Brighton.
Okay. All right. Wow.
So,
that's awesome.
So I didn't I needed that help, So she kind of helped put some rails on it for me.
Okay.
And so I began, I would have oatmeal in the morning,
mm-hmm.
but I put spinach in my oatmeal.
Yep.
Because the spinach helps to slow down the absorption of that glucose,
mm-hmm.
so you don't spike.
Right.
A lot of people try to eat oatmeal, but they either eat like that crap oatmeal that comes in the little bags, with the sugar in them,
yep.
or they eat rolled oats, which
right.
are highly processed.
Mm-hmm.
I eat steel cut. I do eat the quick cook steel cut because I'm lazy, and they work for me. Right. So what I do is I put in a quarter cup of those steel cut quick cook oatmeal into my pot of water, and I put my handful or two of spinach in there and let that melt up. and then I put that in my bowl of fruit. And as an example, when I first started, I would just have like, a cup of berries or whatever.
Right.
I've now graduated since I've gotten my weight to my optimum weight and all that. My bowl of oatmeal now is about 1,200 calories.
Wow.
I eat 3 or 4 fresh mangoes with my oatmeal. I eat a pint of blueberries. I eat 6 ounces of blackberries. I have about a handful of walnuts and about a tablespoon, of walnuts. Mm-hmm. And then I added a little bit of a treat, and I put some no oil granola from the Engine 2 products. Okay. You can buy that at Whole Foods. Yep. And I put that I put a quarter of a cup of that in for the crunch. Okay. So my oatmeal is I don't fix it in a regular cereal bowl. I fix it in like the salad bowl that you serve your family salad in. The big one.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it looks like Jethro Bodine if you've ever watched the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yes.
But as a result of this, I learned how to eat my breakfast. I got my breakfast right, and then my lunch while I was losing weight was like usually a pound of raw peppers, a pound of carrots, some hummus, lots of like raw vegetables. It was really what I ate. And then at dinner time, I was eating, a lot of spinach with beans. I'd eat a cup or 2 of beans every day.
Right.
And that's what I primarily ate throughout my weight loss periods. Okay. And so to give you guys some timelines, so I was diagnosed November 28th. I went back and they put me on insulin, basically. They gave me metformin originally, but every time I took it for 3 days, and I got sick every time I took it. Right. So I went back to the doctor and I said, listen, just give me the shots. I can handle the needles. Mm-hmm. Give me the needles. I said, I'm off of this crap in 90 days. And the doctor I'm from because I was a Marine, I'm a VA guy. I go to the VA. Yeah. And it's my only health plan because I'm self-employed. And anyway, the doctor said, all right, I'll put you on the shots, but, we've never had anybody come off the medication. I said, I'm coming off, man. So I went back 90 days later. My body weight went from 296 to 244.
Wow.
My A1C went from 9.9 to 6.4.
Wow.
So they took me off the medication at that point, and I said, all right. I said, now I really gotta figure out what I'm doing now because I'm not getting any help, Right. So, by the way, if anybody if anybody's a real geek, I can show them every morsel of food that I put in my mouth since November the 28th, 2016, I have in my app. I use the MyNet Diary Pro app. Okay. And every morsel, every blood glucose reading, everything is in there.
Wow.
But so then I was able to at this point now I really had to figure out what I was doing because I didn't have the crutch anymore. I didn't have the drugs, and it was more important to me than that. Not only did I survive without the medication, but that I excelled without the medication.
Exactly.
So the next 90 days takes me till basically July of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped my body weight from 244 to 206, which is my optimum body weight for my height.
Yep.
If you use Dr. Furman's magic formula.
Right. Exactly.
And for the record, I have maintained within 4 pounds that body weight since July.
That is fun.
My weight has gone up. It's gone between 203 and 210.
Mm.
I've never been 210 for more than a week.
Wow.
So the next part so the other part of this was also refining my education.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, Mastering Diabetes created a coaching program.
Okay.
And they have a program like for $29 a month.
Mm-hmm.
They have like 4 group sessions, and then they have this training program that they wrote. The fellow that created it, the fellow by the name of Cyrus Kambata, who he and his partner Robbie Barbero are both type 1 diabetics.
Wow.
But while Cyrus was at Stanford as an undergrad, he was diagnosed type 1 and Hashimoto. He had all kinds of stuff go wrong.
Oh.
He went back to school as a PhD candidate in nutrition because he realized that what the general world was telling people to eat for diabetics didn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Because everybody's saying, low carb and count your carbohydrates. And,
right.
My breakfast carbohydrates are close to 300 to 400 every morning.
Wow.
And my blood sugar is like, I was 87 the other day and I was 106 this morning. Give you an idea. That's kind of my range.
So it does kind of fluctuate a little bit.
Yeah. And that's, and it has all to do with how much did I move that day?
Right.
Did I, was I lazy? Did I not go to the gym? Did I not lift weights? Did I just ride the bike? Right. Did I have a lot of, did I have any stress that day? Did my kids drive me nuts? Yeah. Whatever, so yeah, blood sugar is not it's a moving, target.
Right.
So I went through their education at this point, so now I'm like 6 months, 6 months in, I'm off the medication. I've got my, now I kind of know what I'm doing now, Mm-hmm. I've got people that I can rely on, to talk to and, bounce things off of and, tweak things. And so then I started, the Mastering Diabetes folks are big fruit guys,
wow.
Lots of fruit.
Okay.
Because fruit didn't make you a diabetic.
Yes.
Fat made you a diabetic.
Yes, absolutely.
It's all about your cells and getting the fat out of your cells.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no cholesterol or there's nothing bad in fruit.
Right.
There's nothing bad in a vegetable.
Nope.
Now an avocado, as an example,
mm-hmm.
You got to watch that one, because it's a high fat.
Right.
Not a bad fat, it's just a high fat.
Right.
So part of the science project was learning, okay, how much fat should I have a day? Mm-hmm. And essentially, Cyrus and Robbie and the Mastering Diabetes folks, they basically created this model, and it's about 30 grams a day, okay, wow, which is not a ton if you do any math.
Yeah.
And that no oil thing, which is often a kind of a mind blower for folks.
Right.
So if oil was sold by the pound, if you could buy a pound of olive oil, a pound of olive oil has 4,000 calories in it, man. A tablespoon has 200.
Wow.
Being an Italian from Boston, I can promise you, I never used a tablespoon of olive oil in my life.
Ever.
I used 2 or 3 trips around the pan with the bottle.
Wow.
And then another little shot for later.
Wow.
I mean, so oil, so people think, well, it's olive oil, it's good. No, it's not good.
Right.
Coconut oil is not good either. If you want to use coconut oil, rub it on your head, rub it on your face, rub it on a burn, but don't put it in your food.
Right.
Because it's an unnecessary fat. Mm-hmm. If you want to get the good fats you need, walnuts, you can have some almonds, you can have, a little bit of this, but, have the avocado. Mm-hmm. But don't eat the cheap fat that you're not getting anything out of.
Exactly.
Oils are highly, highly processed.
Yes.
So the other thing I think that I learned, at least on my walk, is that you got to learn how to read labels. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And one of the greatest courses in that Mastering Diabetes stuff was a whole thing on how to really read the label. Mm-hmm. So, you go to the store and let's say, God forbid, you're going to go get some canned beans, which, mm-hmm. Listen, I ate a lot of them.
Yep.
But I didn't understand the role of sodium in the diet. Mm-hmm. And its negative effects on your cholesterol and your heart and all of that. Yep. Because, listen, diabetes, man, is real. Like, mm-hmm. It causes you to die slowly.
Right.
They don't call it liverbetes, they call it diabetes.
That's correct.
So you can lose digits, you lose toes, you lose legs, you go to dialysis, you have heart disease, you get dementia, you have early onset Alzheimer's. All those things are attributable to type 2 diabetes. Now, obviously, type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. That is not what I'm talking about. There's no cure for type 1 diabetes, mm-hmm. Sadly. Right. Sadly.
Yes.
But I will tell you this, if you have type 1 diabetes, my friends at Mastering Diabetes who are type 1s are taking less insulin and eating more carbohydrates than any other diabetic on the planet and doing it with vigor. Like, it's not miserable. Okay?
That is awesome.
So anyway, but the point is, though, this fat is negative. The fats are negative. The cells, you got to clean the fat out of the cells. You got to, so all that stuff is a process and it takes time.
Right.
So I'm reading these labels. So I'll get back on track. I'm reading these labels and the sodium. So if you look at the sodium, a lot of folks don't know. They go, oh, it says low sodium, must be good.
Right.
1-to-1 is what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. 1 calorie to 1 milligram of sodium. If it's anything greater than 1-to-1, you don't really need to be eating it.
Right.
Put it back. It's not good for you. Put it back.
Yeah.
Get an Instapot, mm-hmm. and cook up some dry beans in about 8 minutes. It's like amazing what that stinking Instapot can do.
Exactly.
But so I had to learn about, okay, when can I eat what? What works with what? When do I not eat citrus? When do I eat citrus? If I'm going to have sweet potatoes, when am I eating them?
Right.
When am I going to have, at night, how am I eating? So I eat backwards. I front end load my day. I eat my biggest meal that I can eat in the morning. At lunch, if I'm going to eat any other grain or potatoes, I eat them at lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the evening, it's about, big green salads, vegetables, that kind of thing. I am not a vegan. So for the record, I'm not a vegan. I attribute veganism to, the protection of animals and all of that. That's not who I am. I no disrespect to anybody. Whatever you want to do, cool. Not me. I will have a piece of fish now and then. Okay. I will. I will. If somebody's made something extremely special, that maybe your mom made something that was, her world-class specialty, I'm going to have a little bite, because I loved that.
Right.
I'm just not going to eat that every day.
Right.
It's just, and that's full disclosure. But I didn't do any of that while I was in my weight loss mode and getting myself, heart attack proofed, and I'll expand on that in a minute. But when the thing about diabetes is that it can be reversed, and it can be eliminated, essentially, type 2, if you put yourself to work. It's not easy.
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
But nothing worthwhile is easy.
Right.
But the fact is that I'm not I'm not a guy that is gonna I'm not trading my health. Like, I don't have initials after my name other than Junior. My dad made me a Junior. My dad passed when I was 14, so I've been senior for a while. Wow. But the reality is this. I tell people I have 3 letters after my name, LMT. It's for love my toes.
Yes.
I want to keep my toes, man. I don't want to lose any digits. I don't want to be in the dialysis unit. Not interested. Wasn't signing up for that.
Right.
So I'm going to do everything I can to stay out of there.
Yes.
One of my oldest friends, a guy that I wrestled with all over the world, he just lost his big toe this week. He's lost some other toes. I'm not. I love him, but I don't want that for me. Right. Unfortunately, he was too far down the road before I figured out what I was doing wrong, to help him, But at the end of the day, man, there's so much bad information, that, and so much crap we've been fed by, big pharma and by the medical community, that, I had to study for myself. I wasn't going to take somebody else's word for it anymore. Right. But I'm passionate, brother, about helping people, wake up, right. But it takes compliance. It takes accountability.
Yeah.
It takes integrity, and it takes realizing that, damn it, that Oreo that you just snuck isn't, it ain't going to affect my health, but it's going to affect yours.
Right.
You've got to take responsibility for yourself.
That's right.
And understand, okay, if this, then what?
Exactly.
But so it's a real balancing act, but like I said, I haven't been by any means perfect.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend can tell you of a couple of stupid things I've done. And she polices me very well. She always threatens, don't make me get the whip out. But it's a at 54 years old, I'm in the best shape of my life.
And that is awesome.
So today, as we speak today, I went to the doctor, and I just had all my tests done like 2-3 days ago, like Thursday. And so they read all my results and all that. Doctor at the VA looks at all my stuff and he says, "You're no longer a diabetic, son."
Awesome.
And he took it out of my record.
Wow.
He took it out of my record.
That is awesome.
I'm considered insulin resistant,
Mm-hmm.
But I am no longer a diabetic. So that there's hope, because I can promise you, I'm no brain surgeon. I didn't, I don't have like some sort of magical powers. I just realized, okay, dude, you've got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure out what the answer is to your problem. Talk to people that know what they're doing. Get people, that know how to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Study, read, stay informed, and use yourself as a test tube.
Yes.
That's why I say I know now what I can eat when.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I don't eat with what. I don't eat. I eat, if I'm gonna eat a banana, it's like 1 in the middle of the day. I like that they didn't treat me well. I'm not a big quinoa fan. That used to send my number to the roof.
Right.
Little things, that you learn. But all in all, I would love to be, I can't say enough good about, the basically the plant-based, whole food, plant-based, no oil lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And the education that I got, at Mastering Diabetes, Dr. Furman, Dr. Barnard, Engine 2, I think these people are the leaders, in the clubhouse. That they put out consistent messages.
Mm-hmm.
They have science behind what they do.
Right.
There's results behind what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And it works because I proved it.
Right, and that is awesome. That's really awesome. Now, there's a lot of people who don't, and I actually have family members who are diabetic, and they choose not to listen. And I've told them several times that, look, this is real stuff. I mean, you can't make this up. You can't. There's no way to make it up. I mean, we were told things that aren't true about what to eat and what not to eat. And now here we are with all of these health issues, diabetes, heart disease, and all the others, and all these foods are causing these issues. So, I mean, I think your story is amazing, really. And
listen, brother, I think it's important. You and I are from the same place.
Right.
We're from different sides of town.
Right.
We were raised probably very similarly.
Probably, yes, probably.
But culturally, it's important, especially for black men. You know, that you have to realize that there are things genetically inherent that, but you don't have to be a slave to to genetics.
Right.
You can out eat your genetics.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
don't have to cave into your genetics. I didn't have to cave in. My father was a type 2 diabetic. My uncle was a type 2 diabetic. You know, my uncle lost toes. My dad lost his life when he was 54 years old.
Wow.
You know, like, we have a responsibility to each other and to each other's families to we, unfortunately, we can't. It is somewhat, you know, it all depends what religion you're raised in, but it's evangelism in some regard. You know, when you start talking to people about this lifestyle, they think you're nuts. You know, oh, you're one of those religious cuckoos. You know, and listen, what I've determined though is I don't try to convince anybody of anything. Here's what I say. Hey, look, here's a video that somebody did on me, tells my story. You know, I mean, I hope to do the same thing with this video. Say, hey, here's the video. You know, take a look at this. Maybe it resonates with you. Maybe it doesn't.
Right.
But you can't say, I didn't tell you. And that's all you can do. If you know, with your blog and your website and your in the Facebook groups, keep telling the stories, keep telling the messages. But the ultimate message has got to be a message of accountability and personal responsibility. If I tell people, I can't care more about your health than you do.
Exactly.
And if you want, and I tell folks, if you want me to help you, I'll be glad to help you. But if you don't want to follow what I'm telling you, tell me now, because I can find something else to do with that time in my life.
Right.
You know, I want to help people, but I don't want to help people that don't want to help themselves.
Exactly.
Because, you know, everybody's got an excuse. You know, the 7-Eleven's open till midnight. I mean, there's 100 reasons why not to do something. But if I could finish this, I'd say this, folks. If you're gonna look at your situation, you realize, okay, either you are pre-diabetic, or you've been diagnosed type 2 diabetic, or you've got these other factors, you know, that are leaning in those directions. You're overweight, you've got, you know, whatever issues. Think about what's your why. What's your why? Do you have children? Do you have a wife, girlfriend, a lover, you know, partner, life partner, whatever your deal is? Who do you love, and who loves you? What's your why? And make your why personal. If your why is right, it will help you with the what. Because the why is what gets you through those nights when you're starving, or you think you're starving, or the Oreos are calling your name, or, you know, something in the refrigerator that, you know, that it's a pizza that somebody left that just, hey, what about me? You know, whatever that is, it's the why where you say, no, I love my toes. I love my kids. I love my significant other. You know, I love somebody that they need me here. And if somebody will take that time to do that, then and get their why right, anything's possible.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know, that's just a, you know, listen, like I said, I'm nobody special. You know, I'm a kid from Boston, went in the Marines, got out of the Marines, was a professional wrestler, got into business. I've been in business all my life. You know, I'm just Joe Bag of Donuts. And I ate my way to diabetes, and I ate my way back.
Awesome.
So,
awesome. Well, I'm going to definitely thank you, Bob. I really appreciate your time. Keep up the good work. I just love your story, and I'll definitely share.
Thank you, brother.
And well, thank you.
You let me know what I can do for you and for your group, and you know, I'd love to introduce you to some of the people that have helped me. If they, you know, get them introduced to your group. You know, anytime they do there's a webinar every week, every Thursday. Master Diabetes does a webinar. You know, it's educational, informative. You know, like people need to see what's going on. You know, because it's those nuances, man. Like there are a lot of people that are eating whole food or eating plant-based, or they're eating vegan diets that are high cholesterol, blah, 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 because they haven't figured out that fat ratio. They haven't figured out that how to eat those greens throughout the day. They haven't figured out whatever those nuances are, you know, that is that tipping point.
Right.
You know, get off medication, you know, get people, I want to see people off the drugs. I want to see people off the statins. I want to see people off all medication, using food as your medication, and living, you know, I mean, my blood pressure right now is 105/66.
Wow.
It was 130/80 when I started. Dude, I can't be any more blessed than I am right now.
That is awesome.
Well, you let me know what I can do for you, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Awesome. Talk to you soon.
All righty. Bye now.
Go Pats.
Yes, go Pats. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay. And there you have it. It's an interview from Bob Blackburn. Okay, guys, until next time, just if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it. We want to get the information out there as much as possible. Mastering Diabetes, I'll definitely have to check that out also. Anyway, until next time, this is Mike Ross. Bye now.